Hey guys, James back here, and listen, I got an amazing thing I gotta talk to you about. It's perhaps the best ever free script software I have ever found, and it's the one that you absolutely need to check out in 2022. Of course, I do have the link down in the description down below, and I want to give a huge shout out to the developer for reaching out to me and introducing me to this amazing software. Trust me, I wouldn't be making a video if I did not believe in this software. It is truly amazing how helpful it is and how easy and well organized it is, and can really help you develop your stories. So let's not waste any more time. Let's hop straight into the tutorial right now. So already I'm going to say, if you want to download a version of this, the link is in the description down below. I highly recommend go check it out for yourself. It is free. It's currently in a beta stage at the moment. I know that they're still trying to figure out a sort of a paid plan system later on, but please go check it out and support the creators as much as possible. I was really excited when they reached out to me. Let's go through the ins and outs, shall we? So already, number one, you're going to open up the software, and it's basically going to take you to the script page. Now, right now, what you're looking at is I actually brought in an existing script that I'm actually currently working on. This is a feature film that I'm currently working on. You might have heard it, Light of Corden. So I'm just bringing this in just to show you guys an example. But if you're starting from scratch, obviously it would just be a blank page. And when you go in, it's going to organize your page. Now you can organize which sections are visible just by going up to this tab here, view display. And so I can, for instance, have the scene synopsis, or I can have it in. It's automatically going to have the scene synopsis in. And what I like about the ability to add these sections in or not is obviously flexibility, but for instance, you may want the synopsis here because as you're writing your script, you may just want to write down the information from your beat sheet, right? So what's going on in the scene, so that as you're writing out your script, you understand what the whole purpose of the scene is, what actually has to happen, instead of having to flip to different documents. It's all right there in front of you. The thing that is slightly different about this software compared to other softwares is the scene heading. You have to write either interior, exterior, the location, and the time of day. And the reason why this software kind of prefers you to write the information that way is so that it can help you organize the information later. And we'll talk about that in just one moment. But basically, you can write it that way. Obviously, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If you're looking for that organization from the software, then this is the format that it wants you to go. But you do have the option to write your scene heading, obviously. So just like most softwares, it does help you organize which section of the script that you're writing, in terms of you have your scene heading, you have action, character, dialogue, parentheses, etc., etc. Sorry guys, but before we continue any further, this video is brought to you by Soundstripe. It's a library of music that you can use in your YouTube videos, your movies, in absolutely anything, or just for listening to. What I absolutely love about Soundstripe is their key features allows you to filter through the huge, vast library of music in order to find the exact thing that you need. You can organize it by the genre, by the instruments, but also you can organize it by the mood. Are you looking for something energetic, relaxing, peaceful, happy? Soundstripe also does not just include music, but also includes a whole library of sound effects and video clips. If you use my code or use the link down in the description, my viewers can get 10% off a yearly membership for Soundstripe. I've been using Soundstripe for years. If you click on the link and sign up for a year, you're also helping me as well. Now, back to the tutorial. Go here. I'm just going to press enter. I have one of two options. Option one, I can go up to this group here and choose what the purpose of this line is going to be, whether I'm going to write a scene heading, action, character, dialogue, parentheses, a shot, or a transition. If I wanted to, I could also use a key command. For action, for me, it's command 1. So now we're going to write an action, and that just became an action. If I wanted to switch back to a character, I can either just click on this button to switch to a character. So let's say I wanted to switch to here, but already there's two different ways that you can start writing. Depending on your style, sometimes I prefer using a key command so I can work faster, maybe prefer using buttons. Either way, it totally matches which option you prefer to work in. Outside of that, so before you even begin writing the script, you have these 3 options up above, depending on what you're writing. So you can either create an episode if you're writing, say, a series. You can create an act break, just so you can keep organized on your different acts of the show or the movie. And then, of course, this creates a scene in your screenplay. So obviously I'm working on a movie, so I'm just going to be using scenes. If I was working on a series, then I might be using these 2. I could use the acts in my feature film. I chose not to. But you have those options sort of as the bigger organization, depending on if you're writing a show or a feature film, and then it breaks into these smaller actions right here. You might notice a couple different things that kind of separate this from other software. So one, you'll notice that this actually tells me which characters are included in this scene. I can, again, organize to show characters tags or not. So if I wanted to look absolutely proper, then I could just do that, right? And it would just export the script just like so. If I like to show which characters are in this scene, just for the sake of knowing, okay, so this character's in this scene, this character's in this scene, these characters are in this scene, then I can just quickly take a glance at it so that I can just move on and quickly get an understanding of who's in what scene. Because the whole point of the organization in this software is just to help you to not so much focus on the technicalities, but focus on actually telling the story and how to get a very quick glimpse in terms of what's involved in that story. So I have the option to add any of these things: a log line, block, synopsis, comments, tags, tagging out the scene. I'm actually including the scene synopsis because I find that kind of helpful. You don't have to, it's completely up to you. That's what's great about the software. You just adapt it to your writing style and the way that you like to focus on your work. You'll also notice that this scene is highlighted. There is a way that you can highlight certain scenes for whichever organization reasons that you want. We'll talk about that in a bit of a second. So if you go down to the bottom left corner, you'll also notice these symbols. So one, you'll see this book. So obviously this will show you which page out of the whole number of pages that you're on, but I really like this function here. So what this does is it's going to give you an estimated time as to how long a scene is and how long your movie is up to a certain point. So for instance, if I were to fast forward and scroll down to, say, this moment here, and just put my cursor here. Actually, I'm going to put it right here on the end of this line. So this is already going to tell me that up to this point, we're approximately 25 minutes into the 46-minute movie. And basically, this is based off of the typical 1 page equals 1 minute of screen time rule. Obviously, when you go and make your show or a movie, this is going to completely vary once you start making it, but it's good to have sort of an estimated idea how long you might be looking at. So yes, this script might be about approximately 46 minutes. I also know that it could end up being anywhere in the vicinity of 46 minutes to even an hour, maybe even longer. Okay, so I know that by the time we get here, this is the 10 minutes, which is actually really good because I actually want this scene, I want all of this to be within the first 10 minutes because that's important, right? Because we often talk about how sometimes producers and audience members will judge whether or not your show or movie is worth watching within the first 10 minutes or first 10 pages. You'll also notice that the title page, you have a lot more options, so I can even add a picture if I wanted to. This is a little poster. Title, I can add the log line, written by, draft, and then there's also contact information that I can add. If I want to change this, basically you go into this icon here, click. You have all these options for the title page, the size of your image, include default, and then you have all these different options when you're setting up the software for, again, how you want to write. So what language do you want to write it in? How do you want the page to be set up? This is where I find this really helpful. So choose out of the options, heading, action, character, dialogue, parentheses, shot, transition, and which parts do you want it to stand out? Now, I'm very traditional, so I like to keep everything the way it is in terms of its formatting rules, but I could have it so that the characters, I could have them bold, just so they pop out a lot more. I'm choosing not to, but that's completely up to you. I can make the size just a little bit bigger, and I like how that shows an example of what it might look like. You can even highlight characters, you can underline them, And again, I personally like this because the whole point of the software is you can easily adjust it to match how you prefer to write and how you prefer to just work with the software. And then there's coding if you really want to get into the coding. This is based off of the Save the Cat beat sheet by Blake Snyder, of course, and then just press apply, and simple as that. You do have to manually save, so just make sure that you're on top of that, but you do have instant access to all your backups over here. And then you have your typical options here, so open a new script, open an old one. You can save as, write immediately. So in other softwares like Celtics, for instance, you normally have to go to the top bar and find the option that lets you export to a PDF. You can do it right here. This one gives you all the options for importing, exporting reports. So obviously I was able to export my script into Fountain and then import it into the software and just have it work within this software, which is really, really nice. Settings, shortcuts, translations, etc. Now you'll notice that I skipped this Laurel over here. So this is actually a really, really neat option. You guys want to know what Scriptly is? You want to know what option this is in Scrite? This is actually really cool. So Scrite has all these different scripts from existing movies. Now, some of these movies are from the India film industry, but you have The Joker, Shawshank Redemption, and even The Matrix. So what are these? Well, basically, let's say you wanted to study one of these scripts. You have the option to take a script and open it and take a very, very close look into how that story is told. What are these writers using? And basically it gives you an actual example that you can sort of study from in your own way. How a script is written, what information do they put in, how they write their lines. You could study the Matrix script while watching the script movie and figure out how they told their story. So I think that's really, really cool if you're the type of person where you like to figure things out and learn from actual examples. That's basically it. And then you have the option to go straight into a PDF. You can do reports. This is something that's also really, really, really helpful. It basically automatically generates a report from your script that breaks down characters, their involvements, and their lines. So if I wanted to, I could literally just export the script for just, say, Natha. Or I could just export just the scenes in dealing with a location. So if I was doing a location scout where I was trying to figure out the logistics of a scene, I could literally just export just the scenes having to do with that script. So we're not there on the day flipping through 46 pages of the script in order to find the scenes that do apply. We can just do that and just cut straight to the point. So I really, really like that. I find that extremely helpful when you're trying to go and make your movie. Like, one of the things that's great about the script is it's not just great for writing, but it's also great if you're in a producer role as well. Super, super helpful. So that's basically everything in regarding the script aspect. So once again, super, super easy, very, very straightforward. Now I want to show you something that'll actually really help you in developing those stories. So we're going to go up to this top right corner where it says screenplay, and we go to next to that, we have structure. So we're going to go to structure, and you'll notice we're in a completely different layout. So right away, there's about 3 different windows. So first you have your script. So you can always go back and continue writing your script. You don't have to keep jumping between these two. You can always go back and continue writing your script, which is really, really nice. Down here, you have your timeline. So this is essentially the beats of your script. They're kind of in different sizes. It shows you the number of paragraphs and how long that scene is, just to give you an overview where your stuff is. And obviously I separated mine by acts, just so I personally know where these acts are and where these scenes are, because it's really, really nice. It's very important that you have the ability to concentrate on the small details, but also take an overview and look at the overall structure. So maybe I realize, like, oh, I actually don't have a scene that deals with X, Y, and Z. So I can take a look at that here and then just insert a scene here and then just write down the details in the script. Something else that I can do, which I personally really, really enjoy, is this map here. So you'll notice that I have all these teeny little boxes. All of these have to deal with a scene. So we have, again, the information copied from the script. This is basically automatically put into a beat sheet form. So I have the information of that scene and the purpose of that scene and the characters involved in that scene. and then it just goes straight from one scene to another, to another, to another. As well as every time I click on it, we go straight to that scene in the script, and then of course it points out where it is in our timeline. Everything links together so that we're never getting lost and having to figure out where everything is. It's super, super helpful. What's nice about this is just what was automatically generated as soon as I brought in my script, but I have the option to move these blocks around. These 3 scenes are all the prologue, so I can just put them right here and just remember, okay, this is the prologue, and then we continue to the modern day. For instance, in my story, right, this all takes place basically around the same time. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Just so you have a clear picture of what the story is looking like and where's what going where. Now, here's something that's also really, really neat. You are not restricted to just these boxes. Going to this left side, I can add another scene straight away, right? I can just add simply a new scene. I can color code it if I'm trying to organize something. I can add a text, shapes, images, a web link, lines. If I wanted to just showcase an image of like some concept art, think of this like a pin board where you're just putting up all the scripts ideas, all the concept art, web links, YouTube videos, music, anything. This is where you put everything down to organize and conceptualize your story. I can select more than one thing. I can select all. I can choose different layout options. I don't have to stick to this one. You certainly don't have to stick to this one. You can run this however you like. As default, it will just automatically do it this way, but it's completely up to you. I have the option just to create a beat board. It just organizes everything like that. It's basically going to organize it in acts. You can just quickly organize it for you, or you can manually organize it. I can group them together, add tags, I can color code. I can change the type of the formatting of the scene, get rid of stuff, copy, paste, PDF, the whole shebang. So these are the different ways how you can start taking an overview of the beats of your scene and start figuring out some concepts from there. Now, this is in the structure form. The final area I'm going to show you is in the note tab. This is where you can start writing your information in terms of character relationships, what those character biographies are, designs, other information. So if I were to go into a scene, obviously information which is copied over from the script, I have the characters so I know what they're in. If I want to write more information in terms of what this scene is about, this is where I can write it. But I also have the option, so you could write out basically the details of that scene here, again, as you're writing your script over here. So basically this is where you can jot down your ideas, and without leaving the script, without even leaving the page, you can just automatically start writing your script so that you don't have to open and close things. This is super helpful. Most of the times when I'm writing a script, I have to constantly jump between different pages, different documents, sometimes even different computers, because I have some information on my computer, sometimes on my phone, sometimes it's on a laptop. It's really, really annoying. Here, you can have it all in the same place. So under Act 1, I can go to any one of these scenes. I can double click. It jumps to that scene. Now, this is something that's also really, really cool. I can go to characters. So obviously this is a list of characters, and I'm going to click on this character. So I added one called Natha. I have the option right away to include pictures. So this is actually screenshots from another movie which included this character. So, which is great because I wanted to include these screenshots so that I have a visual of what this character is as I'm writing it. I can choose what the role of this character is, and of course include tags. This is going to be important for searching things up later. And then I can also add other information. I can add an entire bio to this side here, although I'm probably going to blur this out because I want that kind of private information. But the point is, you can add even the bio of the character or any information that you want. The point is that this is to help you to further develop that character, and you can do it within the software. And again, as you're organizing the beats for your story and writing the script all at the same time without leaving the software. The other thing that I find very helpful is establishing the relationship. Just to remind yourself as to who's connected to what. So obviously I have this other character, Tealina. There's her when she's younger and her when she's older. And it says they're the daughter of Natha, mother to protagonist. This may or may not seem helpful, but if I were to go back and click on, say, this character, go to his relationship, it's a reminder that he serves under this character. This guy reports to this character here. And if I were to go to his information, again, I've included some conceptual art. Yes, I know this is the character from Dr. Stone. Again, I'm just including this just for my conceptual art. Villain, other information, yada yada yada. Notes, I can include anything I want here. Relationship, just to remind me as to who serves what and what's the situation like. Let me show you one more example. I'm going to click on my main protagonist, Tealina. So information. So again, I have a lot of her bio right here. I can establish her as the hero. I can add conceptual art if I wanted to. Here's all the other information I can include. I can also attach other pieces of information. So let's say I had an idea of what her theme song might sound like. I might include that down here, etc., etc. Friends with, older version, friends with, daughter of, friends with. So again, this is just to give you an overview to remind you what the relationship is with other characters, so that as you're writing, and again, which is right here, you don't have to leave the software or the page, you can be reminded as to who belongs to what. And it's just as simple as just adding this. You automatically get a list of all the characters included in your script, and you figure out what the relationship is, create relationship, and these pop up. You may notice that some of these are color coded. I do have the option to color code these however I like by going here, and I can just do that if I wanted to. I'm going to click orange because I like it. I'm going to go to this character and I'm going to highlight this character as green. So just when I have this overview, I can just start looking at these colors. Maybe I have a family and I want to color code them by their family so I know who's who just from a quick glance. And that way I can understand, okay, they're in this family, they're in this family. It all depends on you. Once again, the whole purpose of the software is you can adjust how you go about writing, how you go about structuring, how your workflow is, so that you can just simply concentrate and write the story. And then of course, as I said, you can export straight to a PDF, include watermarks or anything if you want, generate your reports, and that's basically it. This is also the latest update. This is update 8.4. So make sure you have the latest version. But yeah, this is literally the best software of 2022. If you don't have this, I highly recommend, seriously, go check it out. And a huge thank you to the makers and developers of Scrite for not only showing this to me and giving me a chance to check it out and also to talk about it, but again, I would highly recommend, at least for yourself, go try it. And as always, if it works for you, great. If not, don't worry about it. But I'd say, look, it's free. There's no harm in trying it out. So once again, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. And good luck with your writing, and I will see you next time.